Hello and welcome to another multiplayer battle on Call of Warhammer, beginning of the end times. Today we have a mix-up of a 2v2 between two lizardmen armies facing off against an Empire and a Skaven horde. The players involved today are Edgy as lizardman, we've got lizardman fish 24, we've got Mandra Ochia, and Girahim. As the respective factions, Empire, Skaven, and the two Lizardmen. The army compositions are two Engine of the Gods, which we've just started firing, some Croxigors. They both brought a unit of Skink Priests. They're quite cheap mages and they can hide, so you can wait for the right opportunity to reveal them and strike the enemies from the side and flanks. We might see this in this battle. I'll try and capture the moments of the battle. Sora Spears, some regular Saurus, some more Saurus, and then Temple Guard as your sort of reserve corps. The other guy's gone for a very similar build, except he's brought a lot more Saurus and Skinks. I think he's brought at least 5 or 6 units of Skinks cohort, which are the Spearmen. Very good meat shield. He's also got his mages hidden on his right wing. Well, I don't know if they're hidden, but they're there. I thought they could hide anywhere, but they're not hidden. He's also got some of the Saurus Scar Veteran Cavalry. Arguably one of the best cavalry units of the game, although small in number, can pack quite a punch and is quite sturdy. He's got Saurus Spears all along the main line, and then some regular Saurus, and then 2 units of Croxigors. So both have got pretty similar builds. Moving over to the opposition's team, the opposition being from this person who sent me this replay. The opposite side, I've got Hailstorm Rocket Battery, some Warrior Priest of Sigmar. I haven't really seen a use for Warrior Priest of Sigmar. If anyone feels differently about them, feel free to leave comment opinions on the Warrior Priest. So I think they're too small to be effective in number, considering they still die from magic and other attacks quite easily, like such as Fire Throwers. We've also got some Great Swords either side of the cannon. That's a pretty cool formation. He's got a line of handgunners and a line of spearmen all the way along, with some flagellants in the front. We've also got some Demigryph cavalry. He's got 3 units of the Demigryphs, 1 with halberds, 1 regular knight, 2 regular knights and 1 halberds. Moving over to Skaven, he's got his Albino Guard in the rear. He's got some Storm Vermin in front of them, 2 units of Albino Guard, 2 units of Storm Vermin, some Rat Ogres, which are, I thought were hiding there, but they're not. I don't think Rat Ogres can hide. Some Plague Sensor Bears, ideal for soaking up charges and being unbreakable. Sometimes Skaven struggle with morale, but not when you have one of these bad boys. You've got the Screaming Bell. Their morale is fine with that. Gives them a nice morale buff, and they get debuffs enemy morale. We might see that come into effect this battle. I've got a long line of Spear Rants as the sort of fodder wave in front of his Giselles, which he has 3 long lines of them. Oh, and he's protecting his flank. He's screened his flank with some Rat Swarms, some more Giselles, and some Storm Vermin. So a lot of this is sort of standard issue build of the Skaven. You need a Screaming Bell in the middle, your Leek, Storm Vermin, Albino Guard on the side and flanks, strong heavy reserve of weapon teams with Rat Ogres, and some Giselles to provide fire support with either Rats or Rat Swarms in front to protect them. With a nice Screaming Bell in the middle, if I haven't mentioned that already. Okay, let's begin the battle. It starts off quite quickly, because the Engine of the Gods starts off in range. We got some nice shots there, killing some rats and some flagellants. The Hailstorm Rocket Battery is exchanging fire. I think it's hitting the Chameleons, which are hidden. Chameleon Skinks look really cool, they're hidden. And I don't know if they have the little blow dart guns in this mod, but I think they have them in the tabletop. They are pretty good in tabletop, if I remember correctly. I think they get 2 shots each, but anyway, here comes the Empire's realised that he's at a disadvantage, so he's going to have to push forward a little, try and get his handgunners in range. But he's got another brutal shot there with the Engine of the Gods just melting the Empire lines. Similar story with Skaven, but he's setting his fodder line, so he's not really too bothered about it. He can do that all day. If need be, his Giselles are going to snipe the lizards. Here we see a cavalry engagement forming up on this side. He's brought 2 units of skink cohort to screen his cold ones and his scar veterans. I don't know if this cavalry engagement will go well for him, but because it is demigryphs, one of the best cavalry units in the game. So he has got 2 units of cold ones. I don't think cold ones are as good as the scar veterans. I think scar veterans are really sturdy with their free HP. The lizards are now starting to lose a little of the shooting engagement against the Empire because the handgunners have gotten into range. So he wants to try and get forward and close the distance as quickly as possible. The other lizard's staying back and sniping, which is probably the wise thing, but he's realising he's not going to do enough damage. And he's also getting shot at by warp Giselles, but if his allies push forward, he has to automatically push forward as well. Lizardman Fish is here to support his ally. Don't know if they engaged too quickly, but the Empire Line Centre has sort of taken heavy casualties from the Engine of the Gods. I mean, you could sit back and snipe them, but the replay would be about 20 minutes long if you did that. Still screening his cavalry. I don't know if he sees this. No, he sees it. The Empire player has definitely seen this now. So he knows that the guy's trying to flank him. He's going to get off what looks like going to be a devastating charge to this skink cohort that's not stationary. So it's going to be even deadlier. Spearmen aren't as good if they're running towards the enemy, unless you countercharge at the last second from the front. I think that's the only exception to that rule, is if you charge at the last possible second and can sort of brace momentum. Pretty sure it's more beneficial to be stationary spears, but I could be wrong about that. Because I've seen a battle where someone countercharged some black guard right at the last second, and it just minced the cavalry unit. Here we've seen some engagements along the lines. The flagellants are holding off these lizards bravely. And also the Archarge is being engaged. He's engaged his Croxagorus, and the Gurums can countercharge with all these sensor bearers to try and hold them in place. Meanwhile, the Storm Vermin and the sensor bearers, I think it's Storm Vermin, yep, are engaging the wing. They routed the 89 Saurus unit. I don't know how, but I think it was probably Giselle Fire, which is very devastating to morale. Let's see, I think there's a cavalry engagement over on this wing. Yep, the skink archers are firing all the way, and the great swords are countercharged. These demigryphs are fighting Saurus with spears. Not really a prolonged engagement they want, but the cavalry on this side have minced the cold ones, and the Scar Veterans are not doing too well. They're holding their own, but not for much longer, because I think the lances of the demigryphs and the halberds have got better attack. Yeah, and we've also 2 seconds. I'll just hang on. I need to ignore that call. It's probably a sales call now. Sorry about that. Let's see. The demigryphs are attacking and killing the Scarverns. The demigryphs are now pushed up the wing, but the Empire line is routed from a nice Saurus charge. So it's pretty even. The Engine of the Gods broke up the centre and routed what looks like the Empire Spearmen. So it's a nice charge. If you wait to the right moment and charge your Engine of the Gods, you get some nice kills. Over here it's a bit more even. The Rat Storm Vermin are tying down the Saurus Spears, and the main engagement, he's got loads of skink cohort that should really be flanking rather than staying stationary like that. He should really try and get around the sides and try to kill this Screaming Bell. He's also got some nice skink play here. He's using his priests to fire into the already engaged sensor bearers, which is a really smart move. If you hide skinks and then run them up at the last minute when all the lines have engaged, you can get some nice shots off of it in the flank. I have no idea what the range of these guys are, but judging by how close they are, I reckon it's pretty short range of skinks, unless they've tweaked that. I don't know if it's the same range as a Lore Master, for instance, because skinks are still 5,000 gold, so I reckon the mage is still pretty long range. But I could be wrong about that. I've seen the range of warfire throwers and they're 3000, so it should be longer range than them, I'd assume. The Wartbog Giselles, I don't know if I've seen the mages, but they should really be firing at the mages. Yeah, I think they fired at the mages and just broke the morale there. Some more Engine of the Gods fires, all the while pulling down these Storm Vermin. I think it has a lot of ammo, the Engine of the Gods. It's a very powerful artillery piece, and it can hold its own in a charge as well. You don't need to protect it. You can charge it right through the enemy lines. It's arguably one of the lizardmen's best units at the moment. Then I'd probably say a close second would be the sort of Scar Veterans, despite it being low number. The Empire have flanked and routed the main lizard player, Edgy, and then Lizardman Fish is now being surrounded by Skaven and the Empire, and the Skink cohort are now not going to be able to stand. I think he was trying to screen his guys from cavalry charges with those skinks in the rear there, but I would have probably committed them to a flank attack because I don't see any cavalry that would have threatened him. Lizardman Fish is doing quite well here, but I think he needs to back off the Screaming Bell because the morale penalty will kick in eventually. You don't want to fight Skaven in a prolonged fight. If you do, you need to target at one wing and try to fold an entire flank of rats. Or he needs to get into these Giselles and stop them firing because they've got some excellent flanking shots and just absolutely ripped the Lizardman army to pieces with their shots. The Scar Veteran's getting a nice charge off here, but I don't know if it's too late. All the way, he's got all these cohort coming back. The morale's a little dodgy for lizards, especially near that Screaming Bell. So he has to watch. I would have pulled back and reformed, but you risk a chain route. But you don't want to fight anywhere. I don't know the range of a Screaming Bell. I would imagine it would be quite considerable, but I think it should be a small bubble for its cost right now. I mean, that would justify it. If it's anything like the old mechanics for banners, I think it's like the whole battlefield. I think as long as you can see it, which is or something along those lines, just like almost the whole map. It would for the banner. We're getting some excellent Engine of the God shots off, but I don't know if it's going to. It's burning a lot of rats. The Skink cohort are not going to stand up without the Crocscore support, but there goes the Crocscores, they're round. The Skinks won't be happy about this if they see it. The Rat Ogres are now ripping into the Skinks, kicking them about and punching them in the face. We've got some archer fire from somewhere, I think. I don't know if this guy brought archers. I thought I saw some volleys there, but I guess not. His lizardmen are not doing the greatest. The rat swarm is slowly whittling these routing units down, but the Engine of God is getting some great shots off. It's going to be quite close. If those Crocscores and these units can come back and he can commit them, and maybe we can turn this battle again. But it's not looking good for the lizards. They're starting to rout. Skaven are punching through it. I don't know if Skink cohort get javelins. Is that what I'm seeing? Maybe. Is that why he wasn't? Oh, they do. They get javelins, right? Okay, I see what he was doing now. He was using the cohort behind his lines to fire javelins into the rats. Okay, I see. That makes a lot of sense. I was wondering why he wasn't swinging them around for flank attacks. I didn't realise they had javelins. I was wondering what was firing over the heads of the units there. I've never used Skink cohort, but I mean that's quite a good. If you get javelins, are pretty good armor piercing. I don't know if they'll do much against rats, but it's probably a good counter to them if you can just keep them in the fight with their dodgy morale. That's why I think maybe a Slan or Engine of the Gods should buff morale, because the lizardman morale isn't the greatest. I've seen them rout. They're not the worst faction for morale, but they don't really have anything to kind of beef up their sturdiness or make them stay in the fight longer, because Skaven are just outlasting them. In a war of attrition, the Skaven will win in the end for no sheer weight of numbers if they won't rout. And they won't rout as long as that Screaming Bell's in play. I have tried targeting the Screaming Bill with an Engine of the Gods before. It does nothing. It does 1% per hit. I don't know if that's a flame weapon, or because it's a flame weapon, but I don't know if they could maybe mod that and maybe make it less. See, even artillery pieces. I had a battle. Sorry, I'm going off subject here. Where I targeted. I'll just explain this quickly. Targeted a Screaming Bill with 2 mortars and a Hailstorm rocket battery, and although the battle lasted a good 10 minutes and I only got 60% health. It used to be when like 1 Hailstorm battery would kill a Screaming Bill instantly if it direct hits with the rockets, but I guess they've sort of tweaked that and given it more health. Maybe a little too much health for considering what a Screaming Bill does, and considering how cheap they are as well. It's a very interesting topic of discussion. I think it should maybe be, in all fairness, double the cost it is now, because it's like 2,500. So even making that thing 5,000, for having an unbreakable army for 5,000 gold crowns, or gold florins, or whatever you want to call it, that is an incredible bargain. You'd be mad not to take it at that price, because it's just so too good a piece. And you get, it's not as if it's undefensible. You get a free unit of Storm Vermin or Albino Guard with it. But the lizards have been routed. It was a very nice battle. It was very close all the way. They all got an even number of kills. Excellent replay. Thank you very much. I think it was Edgy that sent me this battle. Yep, because it's him that's got the stats. So thank you very much. Oh, it's giving you allied statistics as well. The Engine of the Gods got 500 kills. That's how good it is for Lizardmen 42. And I don't. Did the other guy bring in a Engine of the Gods? I don't. Yeah, it did. He got 200 kills. So Engine of the Gods is definitely the best unit for lizards, in my opinion. It's proven by both armies getting over 100 and 200 kills nearly. But I'd like to end the video there, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you'd like to see more content and you aren't subscribed already, consider subscribing. And if you guys are interested in sending me replays, I'll be happy to cast some of them if they're good. So just keep sending us those replays, guys. Thank you very much and have a great day.